You do it 1,000 times a day without thinking. You pick up a pen. You wave hello. You reach for a door handle. And every single time, one hand wins. For most of you, it's the right one. But for about 1 in 10 people reading this, it's the left. And for most of human history, that simple fact could have gotten them killed. Not metaphorically, literally. Here's the strange part. This isn't just a human quirk. Scientists have found scratch marks on Neanderthal teeth, tiny grooves left behind from using stone tools to cut food held in their mouths. And researcher Natalie Uomini discovered something remarkable. The angle of those scratches shows that Neanderthals, like us, were mostly right-handed too. This trait is old, older than language, older than fire, maybe. So why does it exist at all? Why didn't evolution just make everyone use both hands equally? The answer starts in the brain, not the hand. Handedness isn't really about your fingers. It's about which side of your brain takes charge. In most people, the left hemisphere dominates for fine motor control, and the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. So a right-handed world is really a left brain world. For left-handed people, the wiring runs differently. Sometimes the right hemisphere takes the lead. Sometimes both sides share the job more evenly. Neuroscientist Onur Günterkin has spent decades studying this asymmetry, and his research suggests it isn't a flaw. It's a different but fully functional way of organizing the brain. If it's not a flaw, why is it rare? This is where it gets strange. A mathematician named Daniel Abrams, working at Northwestern University, tried to answer that question using game theory. Yes, game theory, the same kind of math used to study competition and cooperation. Abrams modeled early human societies as a mix of cooperation and combat. In cooperative tasks like sharing tools or teaching a child to throw a spear, being like everyone else is an advantage. It's easier to learn a skill when your teacher's hands move the same way yours do. But in physical combat, being different is an advantage. A left-handed fighter facing a mostly right-handed group has the element of surprise. Their strikes come from an unexpected angle. Right-handed opponents, trained their whole lives to predict right-handed movement, don't see it coming. Abrams found that the more cooperative a society becomes, the fewer left-handed people you'd expect to find. The more violent it becomes, the more left-handed people would survive and pass on their genes. His model landed on a number eerily close to reality, roughly 10% left-handed, the same ratio found in humans today across almost every culture on Earth. So left-handedness may have survived generation after generation because of a bloody advantage in a fight. But here's the twist. As human societies became more cooperative, more organized, more built around shared tools and shared language, that advantage started working against left-handed people instead of for them. Left-handedness didn't just become rare, they became suspicious. In medieval Europe, the word for left in Latin was sinister. It didn't just mean a direction, it came to mean unlucky, evil, wrong. Children caught writing with their left hand were punished. Teachers tied their left arms behind their backs. Some cultures believed left-handed people were more likely to be witches or were touched by dark forces, simply because their bodies moved through the world differently than everyone else's. Historian Chris McManus, who spent years researching the science and history of handedness, documented just how deep this bias ran. It wasn't just superstition. It shaped tools, classrooms, even the design of scissors and school desks, all built for a right-handed majority, all quietly telling left-handed people that the world wasn't made for them. For centuries, being left-handed wasn't just inconvenient, it was something to hide, correct, or punish out of a person entirely. And yet it never disappeared. Despite the ridicule, despite forced retraining, despite generations of children forced to write with the correct hand, left-handedness held steady at roughly the same ratio it's held for tens of thousands of years. Maybe that persistence is the real story here. Not that left-handed people were nearly erased, but that something written this deep into human biology, something old enough to leave scratch marks on Neanderthal teeth, was never something culture could fully overwrite. So the next time you watch someone sign their name with their left hand, you're not just watching a habit, you're watching one of the oldest surviving arguments in human history, a silent reminder that being different was once, quite literally, a matter of survival.